Oh my goodness. That's a new feature in Zoom. Got it. All right. And for those of you who are able and willing to be on camera, I love it. I always find it creepy teaching to the black squares, but if you can't make the camera work, don't worry about it. You're welcome no matter what, obviously. Or maybe it's not obvious. You are welcome. Everybody's good. All right. So I'm going to assume that everyone has acquired some kind of paper, scissors, straight edge, round making object of your choice. And so I'll start.
Jeanette.
Yeah, was that a good explanation? Yeah. And I can start by just saying a little bit about what these braided heart baskets are. So this is something that I learned to make as a little kid. And I remembered when I first pitched this idea as a session to the Makerspace group. And Carrie, you might remember, I was like, we could make those paper baskets that are, they're like this. And everyone's like, what are you talking about? I'm like, and they're braided like this. And finally I had to find a page on the internet and I was like, it's a heart, you guys, with the. And so apparently it was not a thing that everyone made as a child. So I looked up to learn something about it properly so that I could tell everybody. So officially, you'll see these called Swedish braided hearts, Danish braided hearts, Scandinavian braided hearts. Traditionally speaking, it is something that would be used for Christmas holidays that you might hang on a tree. And to the best of the internet history's universe knowledge, the first sort of official one that has been preserved is Danish, and it was made by Hans Christian Andersen, the author. And if you want to see this particular heart, wait, I wrote it down because I thought this was cool. It's in the Hans Christian Andersen Museum in Denmark. So you can go see the first or the oldest preserved braided paper heart. And obviously you don't have to use it for Christmas if you don't want to. And you certainly don't have to use red or white. You can do any combinations of whatever, because it's more about, I think, the technique, and then you can apply it how you want, which is the nice feature there.
Should we have like regular sort of copy paper weight, or should we have heavier paper?
Let's talk about paper. I am going to use, let's see. Let me try to switch my camera. Let me see, I was trying to set this up, at panic speed right before we started. Here we go. So I'm using, essentially it's just copy paper weight, and I, for some reason, had a pile of pink and then blue with 3-hole punch. So, why fight it? Figured I would go with that. I also made one earlier using gift wrap. You can see, which is a lightweight. So I actually think the lighter weight paper, like just a copy paper, is a little bit easier to learn how to do it with, to start with. And then if you want to try a heavier weight, you can, as you're going. But in terms of just learning the technique, I think the lightweight paper is actually a little bit easier to work with.
I used, for this one, I used copy paper and construction paper. And then this one is two different pieces of origami paper. So really anything that folds well and can be manipulated pretty easily is a good choice.
Yeah, something that would tear very easily, I think, would be more difficult to work with, though not impossible. So like tissue paper and so on, if it was just gonna tear, might be a bit of a challenge. Fabric certainly will work, in which case felt is probably the easiest thing to work with, or something else that's very crisp, like if you have some quilting cotton that you could cut, it would take a nice straight cut, would also work quite easily. Let's see, I want to talk about this sucker. By the way, the official, if you want to be like cool and Danish about it, they have a colored glazed paper, which is different colors on the front and back, but I don't really know what that means. Yes, you absolutely could use craft felt. That would work fine because it can take a nice crisp fold and a nice straight cut very easily. So you can always modify this to be your own. So I'm gonna walk through sort of the very most basic version to start with, and then we'll kind of escalate from there, so you can get a sense of the different options that might exist here. So So let me switch my camera back to my, everyone should hear the air quotes, highly professional overhead camera rig that I made 5 minutes ago with a lot of duct tape. So hopefully it will hold for the duration of this session. And maybe Matt will be quieter. Love you. I shouldn't complain. He's doing our laundry. Sorry about that. Okay. You never want to complain about someone doing the chores. All right. Okay. So what we need to do essentially is we want to have, we're going to cut out one side from one of the colors of paper, one side from the other. And we are going to cut them together so that we end up for sure with the same shape. So to do that, I'm going to grab one pink and one blue. I don't know why I have 3-hole punch paper in blue, but why do we question these things? And so I'm actually going to go ahead and fold them together. And then I will cut them out together, but you don't have to do that. You could cut each one separately. So I'm just stacking them and folding them in half. And then you've got just a nice crisp fold here at the bottom.
I will say one thing that I found useful, because I did the same thing, folding the 2 pieces together. If you have paper clips handy, I found it handy to like clip around the edges just to keep the paper even while you're cutting.
That's a good idea. Okay. So
not just move your hands.
Yeah, it's like, or if not, it'll be fine. Or you could cut them each separately. All of these are options. So here's where, is that showing up here? Let me switch so I have the pink as my background. Then you can see more clearly what I'm doing. How's that? There we go. All right. So all I have is I just have my 2 sheets folded together. Da-da-da-da. And here's where the circle comes in. So let's see, where did I put that little mirror thing? So the shape you're going to make is essentially a long rectangle, and the top's going to be a semicircle. So I've got my circle thing, and I'm placing it just against this edge, although you don't have to. And here's, I'll just show you with the pencil tip. The rectangle is going to go up, around, and I'm going to use the side as the other side of my rectangle. So you could use a compass to trace this out. You could do whatever you wanted. You can trace the cup. All right, so I'm tracing. I'll show you. I'll lift it up here in a second. You only need to trace half the circle, but it won't hurt you to trace the whole thing. So don't stress. All right, so is that dark enough to see? Yeah, so there's my semicircle. And now I'm going to just essentially draw a straight line. So this line is coming from the outside of where that circle was. I have to set it back so you can see. Right? I'm just drawing straight down the edge toward the folded side of the paper. Ta-da! And you can see I didn't quite nail it perfectly. That's fine. You know how we roll here. So is that focused well enough that folks can see it? Okay. So you just have a rectangle going up, the folded edges at the bottom, your semicircle, and the other edge coming down the side here.
It's kind of blurry.
Let me try. How about there? We're basically playing a game where the camera refocuses.
Oh,
And so I apologize. What? Did we get it?
that's
It's going to kind of jog in and out. Sorry.
Trisha, maybe you could bring it closer just briefly so everybody can see the outline, and then
Can you see the outline there?
yeah.
Kind of like an elongated slice of bread. I don't know how else to
Yeah.
describe that shape.
or I kind of think of it as like an arched doorway almost.
Oh, that's nice. Here, let me. I'm gonna redraw it just with a marker. So I would not suggest you use a marker. It's gonna make a big fat line, but I think this will make it easier to see, even if it's a little bit blurry. Because I apologize about that. All right, so I'm essentially just going over what I just did, so you don't have to do that. But just so the line will show up. So there's my semicircle. And I'm drawing my straight line straight down toward the fold. There's a cat meowing plaintively. No one has suffered as much as that cat ever is suffering right now. All right, so that, okay. So even if it's a little blurry, hopefully that is a little easier to see the shape. So we just there and to the edge. So that's the shape. Everyone's with me on this? And notice
Yeah.
I didn't really measure anything. You know, that was my circle, and I just kind of, I can explain later if you want like a more exact sizing, but basically like, yeah, if the circle's this tall, this underneath is a little bit shorter. How's that? I'll
Okay.
talk about math later. So now is the part where we're going to cut out this shape. So we're going to cut on the line I just did. Remember, you've got your two pieces folded together because we're going to cut them both. The thing, just everyone be careful before we cut, make sure that the folded edge is at the bottom, not the curved part. So the curved part should be toward the open part. The fold is down here. And Carrie, this is where you were suggesting to paper clip it, right? Like,
Yes. Yeah, I just found
did
it made it sometimes when you're cutting multiple layers, they tend to fan a little bit, and it just helped prevent that.
let's try this. I have these little novelty paper clips. I don't know if that'll work. Let's find out. Little experiment that we do. Let's see. Okay. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut on my line as best I can. Now, because I used a marker, my finished product is going to have, you know, a little bit of marker on the edge. Okay with that. But if you use pencil, you could always erase any stray marks after you cut if you don't want them on your project. Okay. There. Oh, that was a good idea with the paper clips. Okay, so I just want to show you what I have, just so you see. So because I put the two pieces together, I now have, right? They're just folded inside. If I were to unfold them, they would be these big long, I don't know. Okay, I'm so sorry, but I'm going to say it out loud. I unfolded it and I looked at the shape, and all I can think of is a sanitary napkin. Sorry, everybody. Like that. I was like, is it a shoe? No, it's not. It's a maxi pad. Okay. Well, that's nice. That's fun for us. Okay. Hooray! Welcome to Makerspace. We're all adults. All right. So I haven't done anything to it. I've just cut it out and put my two things together.
Demi
Now-
says it looks like an old flip phone.
Oh yeah, good call. Hello. Okay. Now our next step, nobody panic. I'm going to show you what I'm going to do and then explain. Hold on. Now here's like a pre-drawn one. This is just a different pink one I didn't cut out yet. Don't freak out. Our next step, we're going to do the easiest version. We're going to draw a line straight up the middle where we will also cut. But my question is, how far do I draw my line? So to determine that, oops, sorry. Like how far up should I cut through the middle? But what I'm going to do to figure that out is I pulled apart my two flip phones. Okay, it says somebody's trying to get back in something.
Yeah, I'm
Okay, you're
taking a look at that.
somethinging. Folks who are, if you're sending me direct messages, I probably am not seeing it. So make sure you send it to everyone or send it to Carrie. I apologize. Trying to multitask. Okay, so I've got my two flip phones, and all I'm doing is laying this one, the curved edges here, and I'm just laying it on top so it's lined up with the fold. And I'm going to take my pencil. You can already kind of see the little heart, right? This is the heart shape we're going to make in a minute. Taking my pencil, and I'm just making a very light line across the top because that tells me how far up I need to draw. I need to do my cutting, right? So I had my two pieces, and all I did to determine how far up to cut is I laid them corner to corner here, and I just lightly traced a line right here. So I would know. And even though I said lightly, I'm committed to using my big fat Sharpie so it shows up a little better. So y'all are gonna trace lightly, and I'm gonna trace aggressively with this Sharpie. Aggressive tracing. Right.
Oh, just let me get my mask on. Come on. Sorry.
When you were talking to me,
Then mute. Okay. Right. So you all did a light tracing. I did this vigorous marker tracing just to get the height. At this point, I'm actually going to just put my two pieces back together because we're going to still keep cutting. And I'm going to do the simplest version, which is just going to have a 2x2, which will make sense in a minute. And Carrie probably already can sense what I'm going to do here. So I am going to grab my straight edge and I'm actually going to kind of eyeball it. Ooh, but I don't have to. What I want to do is divide this equally. And I guess what I could do is just, I'm not creasing it, y'all, because I don't want to leave a big crease mark. I'm just trying to get a feel for where the middle is. Okay. And I think the middle is right about there. So I'm going to draw a line from the fold up to the line that I just traced. And I tried to aim for the middle, I didn't quite get there. I forgot to account for how fat my marker was. I'll just go even fatter. That's how we'll cope. Doesn't really matter that much. Okay, so that's all I did. Everyone with me? And I determined how far to draw based on when I laid the one piece over the other. And now, with that, now I still have my two pieces stacked together, my pink one's in there. This, you could paper clip again here if you want to make sure it's gonna stay together, but I'm gonna risk it. Feeling crazy. And I'm gonna go ahead and just cut on the line. Don't cut all the way to the curve. You're just cutting to that line right there. So it looks like this. Got my little legs. Boop, 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 boop. And now I can actually take my two pieces apart. So now I have a pink piece and I have my blue piece. Now we could have cut these both separately, but ultimately you want them to be exactly the same. And I felt like I would have to do a lot of measuring and I just felt like I probably couldn't pull that off. So that's why I folded the two together and cut them together. It just felt like I was going to be more successful in that way. But you're welcome to do it that other way. Now, our next step, once you're there, is to actually do the weaving for the woven basket. And Carrie, this is where I might need you to jump in because this is a lot like the weaving we've done for other projects.
Yes.
Where you have explained it well and I have not, but you know.
I was thinking as I was getting ready for tonight that if any of you were with us back towards the beginning of pandemic times when we were doing crafts with all those toilet paper tubes that we had lying around.
Marina had done so many toilet roll crafts.
We did some weaving with them and this is very similar. So if you were with us for that, you're already ahead of the curve.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. Hold on. I'll try to explain it and then Carrie can be like, you're not explaining it properly. Okay, there we go. All right, so we're going to, I'm going to start by laying my pink on top of my blue, not for any particularly good reason. I'm going to take this first leg of blue and put it inside my first leg of pink. So it looks like, I'm trying to do it here. So it looks like this. Is what's going on. That's what I have. But the blue went inside. So I'm trying to show you properly. Blue is now just slid into the pink. And now, basically this is going to be an over-under in the end, just like any regular weaving. Now I'm going to push my pink forward. So I've got the double pink leg flopping away over here. I've got a blue leg with the pink under it. And now here's the tricky part. I need to take this pink leg and slide it into the blue leg. this is where having a paper that's not too stiff makes your life a little easier.
Mhm.
So I'm trying to just work him in there. Getting it
So
through.
as opposed to just weaving with a single layer of paper or fabric where it's over under, this is inside outside. So the first
Good
pink
call.
layer is outside the blue leg and the second pink leg is inside.
Yeah, what Carrie said.
Yeah.
That's why we're a team.
Mhm.
Inside, outside, inside, outside. Jamming my blue leg in there.
The ranch
Who's that? Where's that?
in the garage.
Now, one other thing that I would mention is Drusha has put the side that she traced
Yep.
out.
I was gonna
Um,
say that part, but yes.
But if you want, obviously yours is not marker, so it won't be quite as obvious, but you can fold it so that the part that you've drawn your outline on is in the
Inside.
inside of your basket rather than the outside.
Which, so I'll show you, essentially, because we just did a very simple 2x2, this little bad boy is done, and you can hold it up and you can see that there is in fact a basket in here. Ta-da. Which I'm gonna take him apart. I don't know why I feel like it's a him. It's very gendered of me. I'm gonna take it apart and do it again just the same way, but I'm also gonna take Carrie's suggestion and flip my paper so that it is like marker lines are on the inside. How's everyone doing? Let us know if you're struggling on the weaving. That's the trickier part. That's why we started with the 2x2.
I'm just struggling on choosing the papers.
Fair.
Bonnie, you can make as many as you want, so you can
Go nuts. Yeah.
I've got
Okay.
enough paper out to make a couple dozen, so.
In
I
fairness,
have quite a pile next to me myself.
my marker shows through the other side anyway, so we're not really gonna win, but that's cool. It's all good. Okay, so how did you explain it, Carrie? Inside, outside?
Yep.
Let's try this way. Let's go in. So
So
now
the
it has to go
line.
outside the pink. And let's see, that went outside there, so that needs to be in here. And then that guy goes into this one.
Yeah, the last one is usually the trickiest because you don't have a lot of as much wiggle room, but
Literal wiggle room. Yeah. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. We like metaphors, they're both literal and figurative. Come on, buddy. Get on in there. There we go. So now I'll just show you in case you wanted to add a traditional paper handle. You could just cut a rectangle of paper of whatever length you wanted. And take my trusty glue stick of questionable age, smear some glue. And I'm gonna just glue it right there. Flip them over. Add some more glue.
and as Drusha mentioned, these traditionally are used at Christmas. They're hung on Christmas trees and filled with
And put
candy.
little goodies in there.
But Valentine's Day is coming. They can also be a really great little gift for that as well.
Okay, how's everyone doing? I'll put my face back on for a moment.
I just got to half of the, this is where I got up to. I didn't quite understand what
Oh,
you
it's
do
that,
with
yep,
this.
that last one.
Yeah.
Carrie, can you perhaps
Yeah.
take a stab?
Sarah, can you hold that up a little bit? like
Yeah,
you did this
sure.
one?
Yeah.
So I think you need to slide your, is that white? The piece in your hand there?
Yes.
What-
this
So
one.
if you slide that up, so right now, the first leg is all the way at the bottom of your heart. So you want to slide that up
This one?
towards the top. So slide the whole white piece up closer to the top of the red piece. So here's my,
Okay, like that?
Mm. This is hard to explain.
not
this way.
folding, actually. So put that leg back. Just
Okay.
let it go. No, let that go. We're not folding anything right now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just so you see how the white piece is like inside the red right now.
Yes.
So just like if you're kind of holding the red part loosely, you should be able to slide the white part up inside of it.
Let's see.
Okay.
Hold on, let me see if I can replicate where she's at.
So the whole white piece, not folding it, just taking the whole white piece and
sliding it through the red
I-
piece?
I
So
think
the-
you're here. Is that where you're
Okay.
at? Yeah,
Yes.
right? So,
Yeah.
oh, sorry, I did it inverted to you. So
No,
your white piece, grab with your, as Carrie just said, grab your white,
Okay.
grab the top curvy bit of your white.
Okay. This one. Okay.
Yep, and I'm gonna move my hand this way.
Okay.
So she wants you to slide there. Like slide that.
Oh, okay.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes, yes,
perfect.
yes.
So now that bottom white leg should go through the no, excuse me, the red should go inside of that white leg.
Okay. Sorry. This one? So I thought it was the white one through the red.
So right
Mhm.
above it, that leg above, you put the white through the red first. So now you're reversing it. So on the first line you did white inside red first. So now you're gonna do red inside white first.
Okay. So
You're gonna open up that white leg and slip the red inside.
okay. Like that?
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
Yep.
then that last little bit of white is
Okay.
gonna get tucked into
the red.
the red,
piece.
and that's what kind of locks it all together.
Oh, I see. Okay.
And that's the trickiest one to jam in there without creasing your
right.
paper.
Okay.
But as
Thank you.
Carrie says, yeah, that's what locks them all in place. I'm still saying him. What is going on with me? How's everyone else? Does anyone else need can we show the patterns again before folding begins? Yes, we can. Might work better if I did my marker again. So I'm just gonna freehand this. I'm not gonna do the tracing, but just so you can see the shape of what we did. Essentially the shape we cut, when I say I'm gonna freehand it. There, okay. So we just basically cut out, now this is a tongue, I don't know. And we cut also, because we did the simplest 2 by 2, we just cut even strips like that. So that's the shape that we just cut out. Remember, this is the folded edge. So when you unfold it, it's going to be that long flip phone business. That's the original shape. Hopefully that answered the question that was being asked there.
Can you do the folding over or the weaving of it over
Yes,
again,
I can.
please?
Yes. So back to my little hearts here. Let me put a different. I was just trying to get a different color background so you could maybe see a little bit better what's happening. Okay, so I've got my little leggies, and so I'm going to follow Carrie's statement. I'm going to go inside outside. So I'm going to take this blue. I'm going to go inside here, inside my pink. Sorry, you're able to see that hopefully. Inside. So now it looks all awkward and gangly. And then I want it to be on the outside of this leg. So I'm gonna shove this leg in between the blue. Get in there. Get in there, you. So, and you can keep flipping it back and forth where it's like, oh, it almost looks right. But for the pattern to work, I need a blue over here. Well, that makes sense because the pink is on the outside. And now I want it to be on the inside of the blue. So I'm going to put it inside the blue. Sorry, I hope this is showing up okay.
So what if you had more strips?
We're going to
than
do that
just
one.
two?
We're going to do that one next. That is coming up at you. So it's this last little fold. So this side looks okay. And you're like, oh, great, I'm done. But if we were to look at this side, you realize, oh, crap jacks, not quite done yet. Got blue, blue, blue. Well, that's because this blue needs to actually be inside this pink leg. This is the tricky fold where, sorry. My hands are so dry, I can't get a grip on the paper at all. There we go. So I'm going to open up my pink leg and tuck in that last little bit of blue. There. And now you can check to make sure you've got it right because the alternating squares, and I flip it over, and I have the alternating squares, and I can open it into the little basket shape. It also it looks kind of neat from that angle as well, the colors. Yeah. So that is the 2x2. Oh, look, we've got an advanced folder over there. Look at you go. Look at that. Yes, there are alternating squares on both sides using this most basic pattern. So I have blue, pink, pink, blue. And if I flipped it over, I still have blue, pink, pink, blue. Ta-da! And there's my little bin. Okay. Now, the question on the table that was just asked was, can we make them with more legs? And the answer is yes, you can. So I should have, excuse me, pre-cut this, but I didn't. So let me quickly with my marker just sketch the shape we're going to do, but I'm actually going to trace my circle again to make it a little bit neater. But the shape we're going to go for is that we always start with the same shape, which is going to be that arched doorway business. And now previously, remember we did 2 pieces. Now I'm going to divide this into thirds. Is going to be the shape that I'm going to work with next. Again, I'm going to trace it properly, but that's just so you know where we're headed. If you feel super confident and you want to jump ahead and you want to have lots of legs in here, go for it. But I'll start with 3 just so that we build an intensity. Carrie, did you already have a 4-legger done?
Yes.
Look at Carrie go. She's intense over there.
Yeah. All that weaving toilet rolls had to be good for something, right? Reno, that looks beautiful. Love it. She's got 4 legs on hers as well.
Oh yeah. Christy had a multi situation going over there. Oh yeah, see, she got the 4. Nice, nice.
For folks who are, kind of thinking ahead like that, while Drusha is doing her drawing and her measuring, you can play around with the width of the legs as well. They don't all have to be the same width.
Right.
So if you alternate wider and narrower legs, you can end up with things that look almost like a little plaid or just a more complex basket weave. You can find
there's really interesting patterns
online. Yeah, that's a great one. You can find templates online that have ones that have curves to them, that make shapes in the middle when you're finished with them.
Mhm.
They can get quite intense.
That is true.
I did the 4 legs, but they don't end up even, and I can't open it. It would not work as a basket. So something's
So
wrong.
something's gone wrong. This might be a Carrie more. I mean, I would have to take it apart and start over. But Carrie, do you have a better feel for what has
I think I
occurred
have to
here?
take it apart and start over because there's definitely no opening.
Or is it a double basket? No, I was just trying to make it. I was trying to make you feel better.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out what happened there. Let me take mine apart and I can demo and see if we can find the problem. It might fall out too while Drush is going through the 3-leg one because they're pretty similar. So
Probably should have started just with the 2 legs, but I thought, oh, I can weave. I'm
Yeah, I got
gonna
this.
make it fancy. It's not
That's
working.
a classic Jerusha thing to do. So you're right there. And we're still doing the inside, outside, inside, outside. Although if you want to get really fancy, you can start to mix that up as well. But I don't feel that confident, to be honest. I've got my trio of legs.
So if you skipped the inside outside alternating, then that's how you get those designs on the, rather than, like another shape in the middle, like maybe a diamond.
I think that is the answer, yes. And
some of those come from the changing the width of the legs that can affect the shape that you get. And also there can be certain cuts that happen. They can affect that as well. I'm not sure how
I
it
haven't
would
done
go
more
if you
complicated
actually.
shapes.
I
I
feel
would
like if
then-
you skipped it, then if you might lose some structural integrity if you like didn't.
Yeah. I'm trying to think as I'm doing this how you managed to get the basket closed.
So Bonnie, I wonder, does it look the same? Did it look the same on both sides? Did you have the squares, the alternating squares on both sides?
Yeah, they were alternating on both sides. But see, I just took it like this, folded, and
Yep.
started weaving them
Mhm.
in and out. But then doesn't make an opening at the
Oh,
top.
Oh, because you gotta
So-
go
so-
inside them.
Yeah, so Bonnie, instead of doing, it looks like what you're doing is like over under,
Yeah,
which is traditional weaving. With these, you have to think about each of these legs is kind of like a little loop, right? It opens up like this.
mhm.
And the weaving, instead of being over under, is inside the loop or outside the loop. So if I take these and I take my white leg and my green leg, I'm gonna open up my white leg and put the green inside. And now I'm gonna take that green leg, the one I just put through the white, and I'm gonna open it up and I'm gonna put the next white leg inside there. So we're just alternating green inside white, white inside green. And that is what creates the opening in the middle.
Has to go inside.
Does that make sense?
I think so. Yes. This is harder though.
It is harder.
So like putzing by, I'm like, come on, buddy, just get on in there.
The other one is beautiful. And you could use it to decorate the front of a card or
Mhm.
something like that. But to get the basket, you gotta do
In, out.
it out. And then just alternate. So I started with green inside white. So the next row is going to start with white inside green. So I'll open up the green loop and put the white inside.
Now, once again, I have failed to cut accurately. Carrie knows me well for this, so I'm just gonna fake it by trimming a little bit of this side off. When in
Those
doubt,
of you who have worked with us before know that is a well-known.
that's a time-honored me thing to do, to be like, it's not fitting. I'll just cut some and now it fits.
When I do that, I have a tendency to like cut too much and then I got to cut a bit more on the other side and then I keep
Mhm.
cutting and then there's nothing
It's
left.
like when you cut your own hair, right? You cut across and it's like whoop, 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 and just gets shorter and shorter. Which in America, we would call your bangs, and I believe in the UK, you would call your fringe. Someone correct me if that's not correct.
You are correct, Madame.
I like to be inclusive in my English language usage.
Do we have anyone from the UK here tonight?
Becca, right? Well, okay, technically not the UK, I apologize. I got there. Yeah. How about we just go other side of the Atlantic, and that covers more ground. Because actually Ireland is like super not part of the UK.
No.
I
Very
do apologize.
specifically.
I said it wrong and I was like, oh, not cool. Mm-mm. So while I mess it up, I am aware that that was not cool.
Can I ask a question?
Of course.
I just want to show what I did. So
Okay, it looks like you might have done what Bonnie did. So it does not open as a basket.
it goes like this.
Okay, so it looks like you did similar to Bonnie, where you've gone, they're not going through the legs. Rather, okay, so let's see. Does that, let me take my 3-year back apart so I can fold it again. Oh my gosh, now I can't.
This was a lot of fun. Thank you. I have to go.
Of course.
Thanks,
Thanks for
Lisa.
coming.
Yeah, it is.
Bye,
You're
Lisa.
well
It's
past
Lynette. How are
9.
you
so-
doing?
Oh,
I
apologize.
got it, but I didn't get it yet.
Yep, let me,
But
okay,
I
I
got
can't
it.
even get, I did it so well, I can't get it apart.
I'll get it
Hey,
soon.
Lisa.
Bye-bye.
It's like, come
Bye,
on,
Lisa.
claw this heart apart. Harry, help, I'm stuck.
I'm gonna, I have a 3-year I can take apart too. Mine's a little loosey-goosey, so.
Okay, okay, there we go. I think that what you're showing there is the same issue that Bonnie was having about the,
So you're gonna, if you
through.
want it to end up as a basket, you're gonna need to unweave it, and because it needs to go back together a little bit differently. So what you've made, like I said with Bonnie, could be like a beautiful card decoration, but awesome. So what you
There we
want to look at is the fact that these open, right? Like each of these open into kind of a loop. So we're not opening it all the way, but if I kind of hold it at the top, pinch the top, I can open up these legs into loops. Yeah. So if we think about these as loops, we always want to be putting one loop through another loop. So if I take my first purple leg, I'm going to look at the first white leg as my loop, and I'm going to put the purple through the white. So it's gone all the way through the middle. Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. So now we have this purple piece sticking out. Yours is purple as well as mine. And we're going to take the next white leg, or in your case, the pink one, and we're going to slide it through. Now the purple one is the loop. And we're going to slide that other leg, the pink leg, through. So now we have, yeah, that's exactly right. Okay, and we're gonna now move that purple one over and we're gonna put it through the next white loop. So we've got that first line is for you is purple inside pink, pink inside purple, and then the last one will be purple inside pink. So you're gonna slide that purple into the last pink loop. We also know that it is 10:09. We got a late start. So if you want to hang out, please feel free. If you were only planning to stay on till 9, we are recording and we'll send it to you so you won't miss anything.
I will, while we're keep doing what you're doing, but while you're sitting there, let me paste a link in the chat as well. Because this is a link to a PDF. I did not make this, just to be clear, but Torben Mogensen did. But it has a fairly lengthy description of the steps that we've done. He does it in a slightly different way, but is another place to take a look, but also offers some other patterns, which y'all doing okay with the weaving there? Looks like.
I did one and it came out, and I've been trying for the last, I don't know, 10 minutes to be able to do it again. And I
Do
just
it
can't.
again.
I have no idea how I did it.
I have been there.
I mean, I did it, and I just don't know how I did it.
How it happened.
And that now I can't do it again.
Okay. How are we doing over there?
So
there.
it looks like
There's something needs to happen there with the 2 pinks in a row.
yeah. So I'm trying to figure out where things went off.
It might be easier to start all over, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
Here, while you're undoing, let me just quickly share my screen so that I can show. And if you hold on, sorry. I'm just showing from, excuse me, this is from that PDF, so you can go look at it later. Don't feel that you need to you know, note this down immediately or ever, but just so you can see, some of you are asking about different patterns, right? So we've been working on the checkerboard standard one. Excuse me, and I apologize for scrolling. So here you can see if you cut slanty strips in your heart piece,
Oh,
right? You can orient them in these different ways. I haven't tried this. This looks fun. Again, this is in the PDF to which I put the link. But there's some intense pictures. Look at this one. Okay. Here you can see there's 3 strips, but this one has kind of a nubby bit. And then when you weave them together, it makes a little heart. Oh, how cute is that?
So Jerusha, I think the link didn't make it into the chat.
Oh, I might have sent it directly to somebody. Let me fix that in a second.
Okay.
For the moment, you can just stare up here. Let me scroll to some of the photos that are pretty cool though. Here's one with like a Pac-Man. Well played. And let's see. Here you can see different patterns. Here's a whole thing on designing advanced patterns, which I have not attempted, but feel free. Sorry, again, I apologize for the scrolling. Just shut your eyes for a second. We'll get past it. Gary's talking about how to make a letter. Like this is some advanced stuff right here. If anyone remembers Space Invaders, ooh, there's an 80s video game callback for some of us. Someone has made a little Space Invader out of their paper woven heart. That's there's some complexity. I apologize, I don't feel equipped to show that, how to do that, but okay, sorry, more scrolls. There's one at the bottom that's Batman. Look at that. That's intense.
It's great.
That's clearly like a little beyond where I'm at. I feel like we're gonna need a little more time to ease into that one. Just gonna let you know. Let me resolve the PDF thing. Oh, it's because I sent it directly to somebody by accident. Let's try again. So somebody has a PDF. Thank you, Carrie. There, let's try that. That's the PDF. So you're all welcome to go take a look at that. And if you get really excited, you can figure out the Batman or how to spell your name with it or whatever. Again,
then you can
I
come
don't feel
back
equipped to do that.
And run a workshop where you teach us
Yes.
all how to make Batman
Because I would love
art.
that. But it feels like that's like more advanced than I'm ready for right there.
Hey, I'm still having trouble. I got the weave part happening, but the problem is like they're really tight and it's hard
Yeah.
to fit them in. And at the end, the space is not wide enough for the thing.
This
So
is where the Jerusha fix can help you. So let's see. It looks like your purple strip, that's the one that
Yeah.
like not quite jamming in. So this
Yeah,
is
even all of them are hard to get
this is
in
the
straight.
cheating way. This is not the correct way. The correct way is to like cut it like really well. So, okay, I'm just gonna hold up one. So mine's not all woven together like yours, but so if you just look that your side that was the purple side, like the one that's still hanging out there, if that kind of feels like a little bit too fat to fit in, this is where you can take your scissors and just give it like a little trim, little wee trim all the way up the side, kind of fix the curve. No one will know. And now I have my little leg is a little bit thinner, and now maybe you can slide it in there without having to redo it.
And one
Okay,
thing,
so is the problem is what I did wrong in my cutting of it originally? Like, how do I make this
So
not happen next time?
what I figured out was that it's important to make sure that the cuts of the legs are longer than the width this way. So the cuts this way should be at least slightly longer than the legs this way.
So
so
Carrie's
that-
recommending something a little bit different than I proposed, which is fine. Because remember, I was saying to figure out how far to cut, you could just lay your piece over top, whoops, and drop it on the floor. There, it's back. And like this would be the depth. Carrie's saying cut a little bit further. Give yourself a little more space for the weaving, which is a good.
That way, once you settle everything into place, so I did that, I'm probably about 1/4 of an inch further than I needed to be on this one. But once you settle everything in and kind of tighten it up, they're practically invisible, that like those extra cuts. So I think it's worth it. You know, obviously right now it's easier to just trim, but for future,
Yeah.
Have a big, but yes, I did some experimenting with the length of the legs to figure out what the heart would look like. So just for funsies. So I basically, so instead of starting with this, with this proportion of our curved doorway, I tried it with like a really long, tall, curved doorway to see how that would look. And then I was experimenting with like, how far do you cut? So in this case, you can see I have lots of like extra cut space where I could like, you know, have these extra bits, which is not what I wanted. So I was trying to figure out like, what's the right, you know, cut length so that it works properly. Because I was like, well, this heart's a little disproportionate, but you can play around with the height, you know, both overall from the curve to the fold and also the length of these cuts till you're happy. Since I promised I would say the math thing, for those of you who are interested, I will. First of all, Carrie's suggestion, very practical, very appropriate. If you are interested in I don't want to say official, because this is obviously, you know, a traditional folk craft. There's no like actual rule that it has to be done a certain way, to my knowledge. But if you are interested in knowing where'd my fat marker go? The relationship between the curve and the height. This is my folded paper. I can tell it to you, which is just drawing with my thick marker. So again, you can kind of see what's going on. So at this point, I'm not even figuring out where my leg cuts are. I'm just drawing the shape. So if you're interested to say, okay, well, what if I wanted to use a much smaller circle? Trace the bottom of this little bucket. How tall should it be? Like it would probably be weird. Although you were welcome to experiment. It might look weird if I did it like this, where my heart would be very, very, have like these big things winging off to the side. So the relationship of the traditional Danish heart basket, where are my math people? Let's see. I'm drawing this in a big heavy marker because that's how we do. I feel like Carrie will be unsurprised at the fact that I didn't even look this up. I worked this out because it was just one of those things where I was like, I must know this. I must derive this from first principles. Because I have nothing else I should definitely be doing instead of this. Okay, so here's my diagram that I have made, right, with my, and you can still see here's the shape of the heart. If you are interested in knowing the whatever semicircle, if this has a radius equal to x, your rectangle that goes here has a height, let's see, x, essentially 2x, 2x is what it is. Ta-da, there's my math for you. I should have written that bigger. Yay. The radius of the
So
circle,
twice the radius.
yeah, essentially, or you could do circumference. So you could be like, the circumference of my circle, I'm sorry, not circumference, diameter. Wow, that was rough. We put diameter d, this whole thing down here is essentially a d by d square. There you go. There's your maths. So fun. In terms of how far up do I cut? That's, you know, your diameter. But Carrie's suggestion is good, which is maybe cut a little bit further, give yourself a little bit of slough there.
So the length of the leg and the width of all the legs are both 2 times x.
So my drawing is tragically not to scale. That's part of the problem. If it were, you could see that in fact,
You get 2 circles.
it's like 1.5 circles tall.
Okay.
This should be essentially a square right here. Is what you should have. This would be a square with this circle coming off the top. And then that gives you like the traditional heart. Now, we are all perfectly aware that I can cut a heart any number of, you know, ways. It doesn't have to be this like mathematically perfect thing, right? We've all done this. We have a folded paper and you're like, I think a heart's gonna kind of, you know, it's gonna look like that. I didn't measure anything, and that heart looks like that. Ta-da! Kind of like mouse ears. I don't know. With a 3-hole punch hole in the bottom. It adds certain zest. In any case. So
No, it's the mouse.
though that is the math of it, you do not have to follow that math. But it can be a good guideline if you want to know like how big a piece of paper would I need to do a heart of whatever size. Or the Jerusha method, which is just try it and see what happens. Oh, I like these suggestions about the wine. I think that is a good decision over there in the chat.
Hey, I have to show you, I did it.
Yay! There it is.
There's a couple little tears and the Jerusha method definitely helped though.
I got your back. And you're right. It's good to know like what's the official way to do it, but in a pinch, you can kind of just give it a little.
Yeah,
little
I'd like to
trimmy
make it a bit
trim.
easier next time. So
Yeah. And now that you've all tried it with the more simple number of legs, you can kind of get a feel for like, okay, if this paper were stiffer, for me, I feel like it'd be a lot harder. Like if I were using a cardstock, I think it would be harder to braid the loops.
oh yeah, because you couldn't bend them as much
Yeah.
and stuff.
But you can experiment a little to see what for you feels right. I know Rebecca does lots of origami, I remember from before, so she might have, and by might, I mean she definitely does have more skill than I at folding tiny bits and making it work. So she might be able to get away with a thinner, more fragile paper without ruining it, whereas I would not.
I tried to use a page from an old book because I saw some online that were half printed book pages and half colored paper. I will say, if you decide to do that, you should probably use a newer book because the old
The more
pages,
robust paper.
yeah, they were not what was needed for the purpose.
For beginning. And somebody originally had asked about craft felt. I think that would work very well because craft felt would be harder to tear. You could manipulate it a bit more easily, perhaps.
Yeah.
Really jam it in there as needed. I'm imagining how I would do it. You all obviously would be like, slide, perfect, slide. But I would be all, shoving it in there.
Well,
Sorry. I was just wanting to ask you a question. Do you mind repeating the three with the 3 lines?
Meaning to draw it?
No, just the weaving.
Oh,
Yeah.
We'll try holding up this way. So let's see. So I'll do it and talk through the way I'm thinking of it, which works. It gets to the same place as what Carrie is doing exactly. I guess I think of it in a slightly different way. So that may make it worse or that may help. Could go either way.
sometimes it's good to see how different brains do it.
I mean, we're doing literally the same thing.
Mhm.
So I'm going to think about weaving my pinks through the blues. Like just that is the sequence I'm going to think of it in. So I'm going to think about and I'm going to do Carrie's looping thing inside outside and get my finger in the loop. So I'm going to think about taking this pink leg and diving it inside this first blue leg. So it went inside the first blue loop. Now I know it needs to come outside the second blue loop. So I'm going to open up the pink and here's the shoving. Shove that blue leg in there. And now I know I want it to be inside the final blue. Okay, now so I did my first, I'm imagining it as I did the first pink leg. So now I'm dealing with the second pink leg. And I'm like, all right, well, in this first pink, the first pink went inside first, so my second pink should be outside first. So I'm gonna putting the loop, whoops, let me get it back on the camera, around the first blue. And then I want it to go inside. Open up that second blue loop. Inside the second blue loop. So get in there. You gotta talk to it. I think that's part of my process. And I need to go around this last blue. Open up my thing. And put it around the last blue leg. Now, give it some tugs. So now I'm like, all right, I gotta deal with this third pink one. So now I'm just alternating. So this one actually has to go now inside the first blue. There you get in there. To go. Nope, don't go inside there because you need to go around the second blue. Hold on, I'm in the first one here. Okay. It's gonna go around second blue. And now I need to get it inside the last blue. This is always the tricky one. Where the trimming came in before. Okay, inside the last blue, and we should have it. There it is.
Oh, wow. I have no idea how to continue mine. It's actually tricky. It
Yes.
won't open. Like I did it, but it won't open. And yeah.
Definitely tricky, but it's doable.
Yeah, like this is where I am right now.
Can you turn it over so we can see the other side as well? Yeah.
So somewhere it's not going through something. Let's see. It is tricky. You are correct.
Yeah. Like I'm trying to put my hand inside the basket so I know it.
Oh yeah, yeah. So I think you just have to keep going. Like you've got the first leg woven through, like outside, inside, outside, but until you get the next one woven inside, outside, inside, you won't be able to get your hand in there yet.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So the red went through the white. Now it's gonna go over the white, or I'm sorry, on the outside of the white. Wait.
No.
Take your first red strip that's at the top,
Okay.
and you want to put that middle white strip, like
Inside.
the middle white.
Yep.
the-
So not that one, the middle one.
Oh, sorry. This
Yep.
one.
Yep.
Inside.
Yep.
inside that loop.
Oh, okay.
Good.
Okay.
Good. Okay. And then the red needs to go inside the last white.
So this one.
Yep.
Yes.
Exactly. So
Good.
you've done the first row.
You've done the first red. So now you can take the second red leg.
Does it go inside? Oh, sorry, over the white?
Yeah.
And
So you
this
gotta
one.
get, wait. You gotta get the white through the red loop, the loop of the red. So it's not just laying on top of the middle. I'm sorry, the
Right.
middle red that you're working with needs to go around both sides. It's on the outside of that first white.
Okay. Around the white, you said?
Yep, go for, not that one. Hold
So
on.
for
Okay.
you, the white that is on your left.
The left
this-
white strip.
Yep.
Yes.
That needs to go through
Inside the red.
your second red strip.
Okay. So this one.
Goes through that loop.
Yep. Perfect.
Yep. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And then this one.
Thanks, everyone. Some folks are heading out. We appreciate you being here with us. Looks
But
good.
you wait. I think you just did the inverse thing. So that, take that one back out. The white needs to, sorry. Bleh. Middle red needs to go inside middle white.
Inside middle white.
Will
Okay.
do, Demi. Will do.
Good. And now that the right side, the right hand white needs to go through middle red.
Okay.
Do you know what we're doing next month?
T-shirt craft?
Let me look it up real quick.
Made me sound really confident, didn't it?
I'm laughing because the first one came out well. The second one took me a long time. And I have the pocket in the middle, but the outside doesn't look. I mean, I ended up with a pocket.
Yeah, that's
The
okay.
first one came out perfect.
So you
but the
invented a
second
new
one-
weaving. I love it.
I did come up with a pocket, but you know, the outside doesn't look like the weave. I have no idea what I did.
You know,
So,
you
you
couldn't do
know.
it on purpose if you wanted to.
Yeah, I have no idea how I did it, but there's a pocket in the middle. So
You almost have it. Let's lift that. You can lift that. Okay, so that here, can you undo that third red just for a second?
This one?
So make sure that it goes through the first white loop. That's the part you missed.
Oh, this one goes through.
Yeah. That red has to go through the first white. Yeah. Folks that are, well, even if you're struggling now or if you struggle later, that PDF does walk you through it. And they, again, it just is a different person explaining it. And that, again, as Carrie said, sometimes just different words clicks. Okay. So now that the red needs to go on the outside of middle white.
Okay. So now that it's through.
Okay, so take your middle white strip and that has to go inside the third red.
Oh.
You're so close. This is happening. We got this.
Just one more.
Feel good about it. Okay. Now third red has to go inside third white. This is the tricky. This is the part where I just shoved it in there.
Jerusha, you were correct. It is recycled t-shirt crafts next.
Awesome.
So
Okay, now see if it opens. See if we did it.
So we need to bring a t-shirt then, or have a
Look
t-shirt
at
handy?
that.
Yeah, just
That is it.
if you're doing your, New Year's
Thank you.
cleaning with your
Thank you so much.
Perfect.
your-
You made it.
Thank you.
Yeah, so this is the thing, it's one of those mind tricks, right? Like you can like, I think I'm doing it, and then all of a sudden you're like, there it is. Well, what was so hard? Yeah. But yes, that is the way. Does anyone have any last minute questions? Because otherwise I'm exhausted. I'm sorry to say.
Just about the t-shirt, what kind of t-shirt were we supposed to bring? An old
Ooh.
one or a new one, like a white one, or
Something you can cut up would be my guess.
we're gonna cut it?
The
Okay.
idea, I think, is to use like old t-shirts that you,
Would otherwise be junking, I
yeah.
believe.
But if you don't have one and you want to play, feel free to use any t-shirt you like, or anything made of similar t-shirt type material.
Okay.
Thank you, guys.
All right, thanks everyone. We're gonna send
Yay.
the
Thank you so
recording
much.
and
Be
I'll
well,
send
be
the link
well.
as well to the
The PDF.
PDF that Jerusha found.
And everyone can do the Batman. Don't start with that. Oh my goodness. I think that one's gonna be tough. That's super advanced right there.
Oh gosh. All right. Well, thank you everyone for
well,
your
be well.
patience. We
Thanks.
really appreciate it.
Happy New Year.
Thanks for your patience.
Always.
All right. Good night,
Have a
everybody.
good month.
Okay, good night.
you.